Chapter 1. Closed until June 13th. Michael Hunter stared at the hand-lettered sign on the Gull Motel office, expelled a breath, and raked his fingers through his hair. Not the welcome he'd been expecting after a mind-numbing 36-hour cross-country drive to the Oregon coast. And where was he supposed to stay for the next 3 weeks until the place opened again? Reining in the urge to kick the door, he leaned close to the glass and peered into the dim, deserted office, rattled the rigid knob, scanned the small, empty parking lot. The sign hadn't lied. This place was out of commission. He swiveled toward the marina down the hill, where boats bobbed in the gentle swells. The motel might be a bust, but at least Hope Harbor was as picturesque as promised. Planters overflowing with colorful flowers served as a buffer between the sidewalk and the sloping pile of boulders that led to the water. Across the wide street from the marina, quaint storefronts faced the sea. A white gazebo occupied a small park where the 2-block-long crescent-shaped frontage road dead-ended at a river. More shops lined the next street back, many adorned with bright awnings and flower boxes. The town was exactly what he'd expected, but with the only motel closed, it didn't appear he'd be calling it home during his stay in the area. A prick of anger penetrated his fatigue. Why had the clerk let him book a room if the motel was going to shut down for several weeks? And why hadn't someone corrected the mistake in the 30 days since he'd put down his deposit? If shoddy business practices like this were indicative of the much-touted laid-back Pacific Northwest lifestyle, the locals could have it, especially since such sloppiness meant he was now going to have to find another place to rest his very weary head. He reached for the phone on his belt, frowning when his fingers met air. Oh, right. He'd taken it off as he'd rolled out of Chicago 2 days ago. A very deliberate strategy to make a clean break from work. Wasn't that the point of a leave of absence, after all? But the cell was close at hand. Back at his car, he opened the trunk, rooted around in the smaller of his 2 bags, and pulled it out. 3 messages popped up once he powered on, all from the Gull Motel. He played the first one back, from a woman named Madeline, who identified herself as the manager.